Buongiorno tutti, benvenuti alla quarta settimana. Welcome to week 4. Um, I hope everyone's doing really well and getting more and more excited about our travel, which is coming up in about 4 months at this point. Um, yeah, about 4 months. Especially excited because it is Monday the 30th, and I will hopefully be seeing most of you tonight on Zoom. So don't forget we have our Zoom meeting tonight at 7:30. The link is on the homepage of our course, so you can just click up here, and it pops right up. Right, so here's the Zoom link, and the password is Italy. So 7:30. Hopefully, I'll see you all there. It should last till I don't know 8:39, maybe 9:30, depending on what we get into. So I wanted to go over this week's content. So this is a very a week that is near and dear to my heart because we're going to talk about this concept of sustainable growth. We hear it all the time. At least if it's not stated explicitly, it's implied. We need to keep growing the economy. If you listen to the news, if you listen to politics, if you listen to you watch TV for long enough, and you will hear someone say, like, we need to continue growth, we need to increase growth. You hear it all the time, to the point that I think a lot of people just assume that we can just keep doing this, like keep growing the economy forever and ever, increasing GDP year over year. But the main, I guess, premise of this lesson is that can we really do that? And is that really a good thing? Or is there a point at which we should stop growing economically? And so that's the theme of this week, because it's just so ingrained in our psyche. We hear it just so much. I think it's good to kind of take a breath and be like, wait a minute, do we really want to do this? Or is that what we really want? Or are there other goals that are more important, like maximizing the quality of life for the most people while living within our ecological boundaries, right? So that's really kind of the theme here. Is it permanent growth, or is it just enough so that people are doing well, we end poverty, but we do it in such a way that we can continue to sustain ourselves with the resources that are here. And so these readings and videos will kind of dig into that concept. So we first talk about look into the steady state economy, very important concept in sustainability. And this is stated in a bunch of different ways by a bunch of different people, but the kind of the OG version of this is the steady state economy. And that the steady state economy is the one I just sort of described. It's an economy that maximizes quality of life for the most people while staying within our ecological boundaries. And if we can do that, if you sort of break that definition down, or that description down, you can see that addresses all of our E's of our 3 E's of sustainability. So that's the kind of economy that would be sustainable. That's really and really, one of the understandings of the steady state economy is that we don't really care about economic growth. If you really think about it, like, who cares if we grow or shrink or whatever, as long as people are doing well. Really, the goal of a good economy, if you think about it, it's really to make sure that people are all doing well, they get what they need, that they need to survive. At least from our perspective, from a human perspective, that's what we want. But from a purely amoral economic perspective, the goal of any economic system as currently designed is really just to keep growing and growing and growing. But if you think about it, we've had a growing economy for 150, 250 years, and it's helped a lot of people come out of poverty, which is great. It's helped us develop really great medical technology and some other great resources and great technologies, which is not to be diminished. However, I think we're all seeing the results of this continual growth model all around us, right? If you're paying attention, you see climate change and biodiversity loss and water scarcity and all this stuff. And so that has just about everything to do with our economy, because we're using those resources, we're emitting those wastes because of economic activity primarily. And so it's really important to think, okay, do we want to keep doing this, or should we maybe just figure out a way to sort of slow it down so we're not, you know, causing climate change, and we're not causing water scarcity, and we're not causing people to starve, and we're not contributing to all this poverty and inequality. So a good economy will address all of those within the physical boundaries of the earth. Okay, so that's the basic overview of this week, and so that's the sort of premise behind the steady state economy. And so you see a little TED Talk from Dan O'Neill, who's one of the prominent current figures in the steady state economy, and also sort of just an overview from the Center for the Advancement of the Steady State Economy, who's a major sort of organization that promotes this idea. Then you'll see a video from one of the OGs in this movement, a little clip from William Rees. If you recognize that name, it's because he was one of the originators of the ecological footprint concept. He's still very active up in Canada. So a little clip from him, and when he describes sort of how the economy just ignores nature, or really what it does is it treats nature as an output for its wastes and a source for its resources, and really that's it. They don't consider, or the economy, the nature just doesn't matter to the economy except for those two major functions, and the sort of danger in doing that. And then we'll finish up with a video about an infinitely growing hamster, believe it or not. Kind of a comical video meant to be, sort of funny, but also has, I think, a pretty good point. And then finally, really important reading here from Herman Daly, who's even predates William Rees. He is like a OG way back, from the 80s, one of the original thinkers in this whole field. Just an amazing thinker, and he really was one of the first prominent voices to say, look, I get that this whole economic growth thing is great for a lot of people and it's served us well in the past, but is this really what we want? And he's just a really major figure in this movement. And this reading is an excellent reading. It's short, but it's dense. So explanatory, just so powerful, in my opinion. And a lot of people that read this kind of have that reaction. They're just like, wow, that really kind of changed my thinking. So at risk of building it up too much, it's a really good reading, really important, but it's dense, so you want to take a little extra time to read it and really pour through it. He does also offer some policy solutions as well, which I think is really important. And so that's a reading that you want to make sure you have time to do. And of course, I provide a summary of a lot of the key points here as well. But so you're going to see a lot of the big voices in this. Herman Daly, William Rees, even Dan O'Neill is pretty prominent nowadays. So again, this is just such an important foundational concept in sustainability. We have to figure out how to create a sustainable economy, because so much of our lives are dominated by the economy, and so much of society and what we do. I mean, look at all the stuff around you. Probably all of it has something that has the economics has played a role in it. And so we need to really think, like, what are the impacts of this economy from a systems thinking perspective, and how can we structure an economy that really does what we want it to do. Remember, I'll leave you with this thought. What we really want a good economy to do is take care of people and make sure that we're not destroying the natural environment. And that's really those are the goals of the steady state economy. So really, if you think about it, it makes perfect logical sense that's what we want an economy to do. But I think most of the time we just kind of don't think about it that way. We sort of imbibe the rhetoric that's out there, that we just keep growing the economy and everything will be cool. And that just, at this point, is pretty obvious that just is not the case. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this week's content. And as always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email.